A man covered in snows wakes up in a ditch and quickly realizing that he is alive. Both his communications and thermal systems are broken, and he assesses his situation. He spots a rescue ship nearby and calls out for help, and a man named Timo approaches him, seemingly ready to assist. However, just as Timo is about to intervene, he hesitates. He calls him Mickey and tells him that he will only take his flamethrower, not him, since the ship will simply print a new copy of Mickey if he dies and Timo leaves. Mickey is left alone and notices eerie creatures watching him from the distance and gets ready to die. The next day, Mickey is being reprinted in a machine and his memory is restored. Each time he dies, his body is reprinted and his consciousness stored in a device called a brick that is implanted into the new version of himself, and this technology violates every law on Earth. It is only used in outer space, where expendables like him are created for high-risk missions. Scientists conduct various experiments on him and expose him to lethal levels of radiation. Outside of the ship, when he inevitably dies, they simply print a new version of him. Mickey recounts how he ended up in this situation and remembered how all his troubles began when a friend convinced him to invest borrowed money into a failing company. Eventually they were caught and brought before the ruthless Darius Blank. He was a psychopathic business tycoon, and desperate to escape, Mickey decided to leave Earth. He applied for an expedition to help colonize an ice planet and submitted his application. He was accepted immediately, and it was only afterward that an employee explained to him how the expendable program worked, and she detailed the process of printing bodies and transferring memories as part of the procedure, and took a sample of his body and uploaded it with personal memories into a brick, sealing his fate as an expendable. Aboard the spaceship, the crew gathers for lunch, and Mickey finished his food. A man named Kenneth Marshall introduces himself, and everyone started cheering. Mickey meets the crew, and he crosses paths with Nasha, one of the members. Marshall then informs everyone that food will be rationed for the duration of the journey until they reach the ice planet, and he also announces a ban on any sexual activity during the trip. However, Mickey and Nasha disregard the rule and continue their relationship in secret. Throughout the journey, Mickey dies and is printed multiple times. He and Nasha frequently find themselves in trouble, and one day a girl named Kai approaches Mickey. She wants to talk to him, but Nasha, overcome with jealousy, interrupts by kissing him. Months pass, and the crew finally arrives at the ice planet. And as part of an initial test, Mickey is sent outside to analyze the atmosphere, checking for any unknown viruses, and the experiment reveals the presence of a lethal airborne pathogen. Mickey succumbs to the infection soon after, which he is printed again. Mickey 13, 14, 15, and 16 are each used as test subjects in the mission to develop a cure. After numerous failed attempts and countless deaths, the team finally succeeds in creating a vaccine. The crew begins exploring the ice planet. They come across an alien species in a deep trench, and in their attempt to flee, one of the crew members is killed on their way back on the ship. Marshall furiously reprimands Mickey, insisting that as an expendable, he should have been the one to die instead. As punishment, Mickey 17 is forced to work 14-hour shifts with his food rations cut in half until he retrieves a sample of the creatures they encountered that day so other can be saved. At work, Mickey 17 suddenly loses his footing and falls into a trench, but this time when he wakes up, he realizes he is still alive, and to his shock, the alien species has spared him, and instead of attacking, they help him out of the trench before disappearing into the icy landscape, and he regains his bearings. Mickey spots a nearby vehicle and boards it. He changes his clothes and returns to his quarters. He prepares to rest, only to discover that a new version of himself, Mickey 18, has already been printed under the assumption that he was dead. He realizes the crew has broken protocol and multiple versions of him should never exist at the same time. Before he can act, Mickey 18 suddenly strikes him with a dumbbell, knocking him unconscious. Meanwhile, in a past on Earth, the R&D department behind the printing machine is questioned about whether there are safeguards to prevent the technology from being abused. Concerns arise over the potential dangers of uncontrolled replication. Mickey recounts the story of one of the masterminds behind the technology, a man named Minova, a brilliant but deranged scientist, and when the police raided Minova's house, they discovered not one but two identical versions of him. However, unbeknownst to them, a third Minova was still at large, using the technology to commit murders. Eventually, all three versions of Minova were captured, leading to the passage of a strict law. No duplicates were ever to exist at the same time, and back on the ship, Mickey 18 drags himself inside a trash can, preparing to dispose of him. However, Mickey 17 is already awake. He was silently analyzing the personalities of his past iterations. Mickey 18 moves to dump him into the broiler, but Mickey 17 suddenly springs into action. He attempts to strike him with a dumbbell, and Mickey 18 swiftly counters, overpowering him, forces him closer to the edge of the broiler, and desperate, Mickey 17 tries to negotiate. But Mickey 18 refuses to listen. Just as he is about to finish the job, someone approaches. This forces Mickey 18 to quickly pull Mickey 17 away to avoid suspicion. Meanwhile, Timo arrives and begins selling drugs to the crew, and Mickey 18 notices this. He confronts Timo and aggressively shoves him toward the broiler, and Mickey 17 rushes to intervene, but is unable to stop him. As the tension escalates, Mickey 18 grabs a metal rod and attempts to force him into the broiler as well, but before he can succeed, Nasha and another crew member arrive just in time, breaking up the fight. Mickey 18 and Nasha leave together, heading to her quarters as Mickey 17 prepares to follow them. A crew member informs him that he has been invited to a dinner party with Marshall. At the dinner, Mickey 17 finds himself unable to stop devouring the food after weeks of harsh rations. To his surprise, Marshall offers an apology for the way he was treated. The evening continues, and Kai, another crew member, arrives and joins the gathering. During the dinner party, Marshall praises Kai for her exceptional intelligence. He revealed his true intentions, that he wants her to become a baby machine to ensure their survival. Kai is disgusted and immediately shuts him down and shifts the focus to honoring the fallen soldiers. She asked everyone to join in prayer, and the crew bows their heads. Mickey 17 suddenly begins vomiting uncontrollably, and alarmed Marshall calls for the scientists, who explain that it's a side effect of a growth hormone they secretly administer to him. In an attempt to ease his suffering, they give him a painkiller, but it fails to work and the pain escalates. Mickey 17 starts screaming in agony, and frustrated, Marshall draws his gun, preparing to put him down. But before he can pull the trigger, Kai intervenes, stopping him and escorting Mickey 17 back to her room. In her quarters, Kai offers Mickey 17 some tea she brought from Earth, and the two grow closer. They are about to get intimate, but Mickey suddenly thinks of Nasha and pulls away, deciding to return to his room. As he leaves, Nasha notices them together and bursts into laughter, playfully writing the numbers 17 and 18 on their respective bodies, and Mickey 17 realizes that Nasha and the others are high on drugs. As he and Nasha begin making out, Kai unexpectedly walks in and is horrified to see two Mickeys. She tries to rush out to report the anomaly, but Nasha stops her, seizing the moment. Kai makes a bold proposition and suggests that Nasha keep Mickey 18 while she takes Mickey 17. Nasha, still under the influence, becomes aggressive, and Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 erupt into argument. The confrontation spirals out of control when Mickey 18, blinded by rage, grabs a gun and storms off toward Marshall, intent on killing him, and at that moment Marshall is delivering a speech. He is talking about a rock formation when one of the crew members suddenly spots a creature. It is within the rock and chaos erupts as Mickey aims his gun at Marshall, ready to pull the trigger. But before he can shoot, another crew member tackles him, causing further panic. The crew scrambles to capture the alien creature, and Marshall spots Mickey 17. He orders him to join the hunt. While the commotion unfolds, Mickey 18 seizes another opportunity and tries to assassinate Marshall, but before he can act, Marshall finally notices the impossible. Just as the tension seems to settle, another creature suddenly emerges from the damaged rock and leaps onto Marshall, and he panics and immediately gives the order to kill it, and the crew opens fire. The creature is killed, and Marshall turns his attention back to the duplicates. He realizes the violation of protocol and issues a command. Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 are to be arrested and immediately locked away in the ship's jail. Mickey 17 and Nasha reflect on everything that has happened. They come to a startling realization: the native creatures were the ones who saved Mickey. Their thoughts are interrupted when Timo arrives, revealing that he has been sent by Darius Blank. His mission is to record a video of Mickey's execution. However, before he can act, Mickey 17 and Nasha fight back, overpowering Timo and his accomplice, and they manage to escape. But their freedom is short-lived as security quickly captures them, and they are sentenced to execution. As they are being escorted to their fate, they notice something alarming: a massive gathering of the native creatures surrounding the ship, and the crew members point out that ever since the baby creature was captured, it has been crying nonstop. Inside the ship, Marshall's wife heartlessly imputed the creature's tail and prepares a soup from it. Marshall arrives and marks Mickey 18 to distinguish him from Mickey 17, taking his control further. He deletes Mickey's memories from the brick, erasing vital parts of his past. Nasha defends Mickey 18, arguing that he was the one who first spotted the second creature. But Marshall cuts her off, shifting focus to preparing for war. Nasha refuses to back down and insists that the native creatures don't want war. They will only fight if provoked, and one of the scientists proposes an alternative. They could try to communicate with the creatures using a translator, but Marshall scoffs. He dismissed it outright, and just then the captive creature spits in front of the crew. He lashes out, arguing with Nasha, and she refuses to back down, shutting him down. Completely cornered and desperate to assert his dominance, Marshall makes a cruel decision. He orders the creature to be tied up and thrown into the broiler, and Nasha runs and catches it. She catches the rope with her mouth in an effort to save it, and one of the crew members discreetly begins recording, capturing undeniable evidence of Marshall's brutality. Marshall, determined to wipe out the native creatures, orders his crew to deploy a highly poisoned gas. His wife, always known for cruelty, suggests turning it into a twisted game of bringing creatures tails. The one who gets more tails will survive, while the loser dies without hesitation, and they shove Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 off. In the frozen wilderness, before they leave, a scientist discreetly hands Mickey 17 a prototype translator. As they venture deeper into the planet's terrain, they eventually arrive at the stronghold. They see many native creatures and come face to face with their leader. Using the translator, Mickey 17 thanks the leader for saving him earlier and warns him that the humans plan to release deadly gas, and the leader has his own question. Why did they kill one of their own, a creature named Luco? Mickey 17 asks what would happen if they killed more of the native children. The leader stated that if humans take another young life, the animals will exterminate all humans. He warns Mickey and says he emits a powerful high-frequency scream so intense it could kill humans. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Mickey 17 signals them to return the infant to the natives. While back on the ship, Marshall's counsel suggests he should meet with the native leader instead of Mickey 17. Marshall temporarily hands over command to his wife, and at the negotiation site, The native leader delivers a firm ultimatum: one of the two Mickey must die, as a form of retribution. Aboard ship, Nasha grabs Marshall's wife by the neck and demands the baby be returned to its tribe. After her release, Marshall's wife slashes the commander's hand with a knife, and the rope holding the baby nearly slips. But Nasha manages to grab it just in time and escapes with the infant. As tensions escalate, both the native leader and Marshall prepare for war. Just before the battle erupts, Nasha arrives, presenting the baby as a peace offering. The leader, seeing his child returned, holds back his forces and stops the attack. Mickey 18 and Marshall fight with each other, and Mickey is trying to stop Marshall from leaving. Understanding that only one of them can be allowed to live, Mickey 18 willingly sacrifices himself. Months later, at a meeting, Mickey reflects on how much has changed. The war never happened, and peaceful communication between humans and the native creatures has begun. Despite this success, he is haunted by vivid dreams, visions of Marshall and his wife returning from the dead. As the meeting concludes, the crew gathers around Mickey, expressing their gratitude for everything. Peace has been secured for now. Nasha delivers a speech and is appointed as new head, and he asks Mickey to press a button. As a result, the printing machine is destroyed, and now no expendables can be built, and everyone is happy.